The lights of the orbital colony glimmered like distant stars, a constant reminder of life far from Earth. Max shuffled through the narrow hallways of the residential sector, his worn boots clanging softly against the metal floor. The colony's corridors always smelled faintly of recycled air and machine oil. But to Max, it felt like home. His small apartment was barely more than a metal box, but it held all he needed. A workbench cluttered with tools, a few crates of supplies, and the strange machines he spent his nights building. He had always been a tinkerer. While most colonists were content with the standard life: work, eat, sleep, repeat, Max saw the world differently. He imagined possibilities. He dreamed of devices that could improve life, not just make it bearable but extraordinary. The problem, as always, was funding. His rent was late again. And this time, he feared Saren would not be as patient. He paused outside her door, took a deep breath, and knocked. The door slid open with a soft hiss, revealing Saren, standing as calm and poised as ever. She wore a simple, yet elegant outfit, the kind that seemed to signal control over every situation. Her silver hair was tied neatly at the back, and her piercing green eyes met Max's with quiet authority. "Max," she said, her voice calm but firm, "you still owe me rent." Max rubbed the back of his neck, a nervous habit. I know, he muttered. "I've been busy." Saren raised an eyebrow, a small smirk playing at the corner of her lips. "Busy building things again?" He chuckled nervously. "Maybe, but this time it's different." Saren leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. "I hope you're not going to ask me to accept excuses. I need the rent, Max. It's not negotiable." Max hesitated for a moment, then took a deep breath. "What if I offered you something better?" Saren blinked. She didn't expect that. "Better? Than money?" Max nodded, his eyes sparkling with a mixture of mischief and determination. "Trust me. It's worth more than rent, and it could change things for the whole colony." Saren's curiosity was piqued. She had known Max for a while, and while he often got himself into trouble, there was something about his ideas that always made her pause. She stepped aside, gesturing him in. "All right, show me this better thing, but make it quick." Max led her through the narrow corridors and down a hidden stairwell that few residents ever noticed. The sound of distant machinery echoed through the metal halls, and dim lights flickered occasionally, giving the place an almost alive feeling. At the bottom, Max unlocked a heavy hatch. Inside was his workshop. Small but packed with inventions and tools, wires coiled like snakes, and half-finished machines waiting for attention. "This is it," Max said, his voice brimming with pride. "My sanctuary." Saren looked around, impressed despite herself. It was chaotic, yet organized in a way only Max could understand. "And this device?" she asked, pointing to a sleek, compact machine sitting on the central table. Max grinned. "That's the one I want to trade for my rent. It's a prototype I've been working on. It can harness cosmic energy and convert it into usable power for the colony. Lights, heating, even small machines, anything that needs energy. No more shortages." Saren's eyes widened. She had heard rumors about new technologies, but something like this? That could change the balance of the colony entirely. "You built this yourself?" she asked, her voice a mix of awe and disbelief. Max nodded. "Every circuit, every line of code. I've been testing it for months. It works. I just need the space and some support to make more." Saren took a step closer, inspecting the device. "And you're willing to give me this, instead of paying rent?" Max shrugged. "Think of it as an investment. You get the first one, and I'll help set up more. The colony benefits, and so do you. Better than rent, right?" She studied him carefully. There was a spark in his eyes, a mix of genius and recklessness. "And if it fails?" "It won't fail," Max said confidently. "I've tested it. I promise." Saren's mind raced. Accepting this could put her in danger if others found out. But it also offered her a chance to be part of something extraordinary. She had always believed in human ingenuity, and here it was in front of her, raw and real. "Fine," she said finally, a small smile tugging at her lips. "I'll take it. But only because I trust you." "A little." Max's grin widened. "You won't regret it. I promise." They spent the next hour running tests, Max explaining the intricate workings of the device while Saren listened intently. She was fascinated by his explanations, his energy, and his vision. Max showed her how a small panel on the device could redirect cosmic energy to power a whole apartment, and even demonstrated a miniature version, lighting up several bulbs without any traditional source. "This is incredible," Saren whispered, genuinely impressed. "If this works on a larger scale, the colony could thrive. People wouldn't struggle as much. We could even expand settlements beyond the orbital rings with this." Max nodded, excitement radiating from him. "Exactly. But that's why I need to keep building. I need space, resources, maybe even protection." Saren considered him quietly, then nodded. "All right. We'll start small. You focus on perfecting the prototype, and I'll see what I can do to help. But Max, this is bigger than just you. You can't keep it a secret for long." "I know," he said, a serious look crossing his face. They paused, the hum of the prototype filling the room. For a moment, the outside world faded away. The noisy, crowded, and sometimes harsh life of the orbital colony didn't matter. In that small workshop, two people stood on the edge of something extraordinary. Max's mind raced with possibilities, and Saren felt the thrill of being part of an innovation that could change everything. Suddenly, an alarm blinked on the main console. Max frowned, tapping at the controls. Looks like someone is monitoring energy fluctuations in this sector. Could be nothing. Or it could be someone noticing what I'm doing." Saren's expression hardened. "If others find out, they'll want it for themselves. And some of them won't care who they hurt to get it." Max met her gaze. "Then we'll be ready. Together." Saren nodded slowly. She had seen humans face impossible odds before, and time and again, ingenuity and courage had triumphed. Perhaps Max's reckless brilliance was exactly what the colony needed. "All right," she said finally. "Let's see what you've really built. But remember, the first step is survival. After that, we can change the world." Max smiled, his heart racing. For the first time in months, he felt hope. Not just for himself, but for everyone living in the colony. If humans could harness this technology, if they could combine it with clever thinking and courage, they could thrive against any challenge. And Max was ready to prove it. The orbital colony hummed with life, its many corridors and docking bays filled with the constant bustle of workers, engineers, and traders. Max returned to his workshop after a brief sleep, energized and determined. The night had been filled with ideas, calculations, and dreams of what his device could do. But he knew that ideas alone were not enough. To truly prove its value, he needed Saren's support. Saren arrived promptly, her presence calm and steady, yet her eyes carried a spark of curiosity. She had spent the night thinking about Max's device, considering what it could mean for the colony. Energy shortages were common, and most colonists struggled with simple needs: warmth, lighting, and communication. If Max's device worked, it could improve life for everyone. Max motioned toward the central table, where the device sat, gleaming under the workshop lights. "Ready?" he asked. Saren nodded. "Show me." He carefully lifted the device, explaining each component in simple, clear terms. "This is the energy converter," he said. "It captures cosmic rays and converts them into usable power. The panel here directs energy to wherever it's needed. And this," he tapped a small crystal embedded in the machine, "stores it for later use." Saren leaned in closer. "And you're saying this can provide enough power for a whole apartment?" "Yes," Max replied. "Or even a small building, if scaled up." Saren's eyes widened. "That's remarkable. Humans have been trying to harness cosmic energy for decades. And you've done it in a compact device? Max shrugged, a modest smile on his face. I had some help from old research files, but mostly, it's my own work. I wanted to prove humans could create something extraordinary, even with limited resources. Saren studied the device, her mind racing. Max, this could change everything. But it's risky. If the wrong people find out about this, they could take it by force. Or use it to control the colony. Max nodded gravely. I know. That's why I've kept it hidden. But now, I need your help to test it safely. If it works, we can show the colonists, improve their lives, and prove that humans can innovate even under pressure. Saren smiled faintly. I like your confidence. All right, let's start small. Show me what it can do for a single apartment. Max carefully connected the device to the small apartment simulator he had built, a series of lights, heaters, and small appliances. He activated it, and immediately, energy flowed smoothly. Lights flickered on, heaters warmed the space, and even a small communication console powered up. Saren watched in amazement as the room transformed from dim and cold to bright and warm. It works, she whispered. I can't believe it. It really works. Max grinned. I told you. For the next few hours, they ran tests, experimenting with different energy outputs and storage capacities. Saren asked questions, offering practical suggestions based on her experience managing the colony's residential sector. Max explained technical details in simple terms, making sure she understood every function. Slowly, she began to see not just the machine's potential, but the vision behind it. A human invention that could improve life, unite the colony, and even protect it from future crises. As the sun rose over the orbital rings, Saren leaned back, exhausted but exhilarated. Max, this is bigger than I imagined. But you need to be careful. If word spreads, people with power will come after you. Max nodded. I know. But I also know humans are clever. We can outthink anyone who tries to take what we've created. This device is more than a machine. It's proof of what we can do when we work together. Saren smiled. I like that. Humans working together. It's been a long time since I've seen that kind of determination. Max paused, thinking. Do you know why I built this? He asked softly. It's not just to prove we can. It's because I've seen how hard life can be here. People struggle every day for energy, for warmth, for light. If I can make it easier, even for a few people, then it's worth it. Saren's expression softened. She had always admired Max's boldness, but hearing his reason touched her. You really care about people, she said. I do, Max replied. And I think humans are capable of more than they realize. We survive in harsh conditions. We solve impossible problems. If we use our minds, we can thrive even in the stars. Saren considered him for a moment, then nodded. All right, let's take this to the next level. We'll test it in a real apartment, for real people. But first, we need volunteers and secrecy. Only trusted residents can know about this, at least until we're sure it's safe. Max's eyes lit up. I know just the people. My neighbors in the lower decks, they're always struggling with power shortages. If it works for them, it will work for anyone. They spent the next few days preparing the device for real-world testing. Saren helped Max organize the apartment, ensuring all systems were connected safely. Max double-checked the device, adjusting circuits, testing energy flow, and monitoring output levels. The tension was high, but the excitement was higher. Both understood the stakes. If the test failed, it could ruin everything. Finally, the moment arrived. Max and Saren stood in the apartment as the device powered up. Lights turned on instantly. Heaters warmed the air, and even the small appliances operated smoothly. The volunteers, a family of 3, gasped in amazement. It's incredible, the father said. We haven't had this much power in weeks. The mother nodded, her eyes wide. It's warm. And everything works. Thank you. The children ran around, delighted by the bright lights and humming machines. Max watched them, a sense of pride swelling in his chest. Saren smiled, clearly impressed. This is just the beginning, she said. If we can scale this up, the entire colony could benefit. But as they celebrated, Max's console beeped, indicating unusual energy readings. He frowned. Something's off. The device is stable, but someone might be monitoring the network. We're not as hidden as we thought. Saren's face grew serious. I feared this. If others find out about your invention, they'll want it. And some won't care about ethics. They'll take it by force. Max's jaw tightened. Then we need to act fast. We test, we prove its value, and we build more. The colony will see that humans can solve their own problems, without relying on the powerful corporations or authorities. Saren nodded. I'll help. We'll protect it. Together. For the next few weeks, Max and Saren worked tirelessly. They refined the device, tested energy distribution, and secretly shared its benefits with trusted residents. The response was overwhelmingly positive. People were happier, more confident, and surprisingly cooperative. They began helping each other. Inspired by Max's invention and the sense of possibility it brought, Max noticed something remarkable. Humans, even in a crowded, controlled orbital colony, could come together when given hope. The device was more than just a machine, it was a symbol of ingenuity, courage, and collaboration. But they knew the threat was real. Corporations controlling the colony's energy supply would not ignore this for long. Max and Saren discussed strategies for protecting the device and its technology, considering hidden locations, decoys, and secure communication methods. Every decision mattered. One mistake could cost them everything. One evening, as they reviewed energy logs, Saren asked quietly, "Do you ever wonder if humans are ready for this?" Max thought for a moment. I think humans are always ready to rise to a challenge. We just need the chance. That's all. Give people the tools. Give them hope. And they'll surprise you every time. Saren nodded, her eyes reflecting both pride and concern. Then let's make sure they have that chance. And so, Max and Saren continued their work, secretly changing the colony's future, one apartment at a time. They knew the road ahead would be dangerous, filled with challenges they could not yet see. But they also knew something more powerful than technology was at work, the unyielding human spirit, ready to adapt, survive, and thrive, even among the stars. As they looked out over the orbital rings, the city lights twinkling below, they understood one truth. Humans, clever and courageous, could face any threat, overcome any obstacle, and achieve wonders beyond imagination. And Max's invention was only the beginning. The orbital colony was waking to another routine day, but Max knew that routine was about to be disrupted. Word of his device had quietly spread among trusted residents, and the increased energy activity had not gone unnoticed. Somewhere, someone or some group was paying attention. Max could feel it in the back of his mind, a quiet tension that never left. Saren arrived at his workshop early, her usual calm demeanor tempered by concern. "I've heard rumors," she said. Stepping inside, "People are talking about a new energy device. Some corporate eyes might be on us now." Max nodded grimly. "I thought as much. We need to prepare. If they come for the device, it won't be just about taking it, they'll want control over everyone." Saren frowned. "You're talking about a consortium, Max. The kind that owns half the colony and can shut down a district in minutes. They'll see your invention as a threat to their control." Max's jaw tightened. "Then we make them see that humans don't need to be controlled. We survive, we thrive, and we do it with our own minds. That's the point of this." They began planning. First, they would continue testing the device in hidden locations, away from prying eyes. Max worked on miniaturized versions that could be moved quickly, while Saren coordinated trusted volunteers who could help transport the units if necessary. They had to stay ahead. The first sign of trouble arrived as a small drone appeared in the lower decks, hovering suspiciously near Max's workshop. Its sensors scanned the corridors methodically, its presence cold and mechanical. Max noticed it on the security feed and immediately signaled Saren. "They've found us," he said quietly. "It's just a scout. But it's only a matter of time before they come in force." All. Ow. Saren's expression did not waver. "Then we show them humans are clever. We outthink them. That's what we do best." Max smiled faintly. "Exactly. Let's get to work." For the next few days, Max and Saren tested clever ways to hide the device. They created decoys, devices that emitted similar energy readings but had no real power, and hid the real units in places only they knew. They trained volunteers to respond quickly to any intrusion, using locks, hidden compartments, and emergency protocols. Every precaution was taken to ensure that the technology stayed safe. But preparation alone was not enough. They needed to prove the device's usefulness to the colony quickly. Before the consortium could strike, Max arranged a demonstration for a small group of residents. In a dimly lit communal hall, he activated the device. Lights flickered on, heating systems came to life, and small appliances hummed. The residents gasped. For months, they had struggled with blackouts, with cold nights and empty food storage systems. Now, everything worked smoothly. This is incredible," said one resident, a young mother, holding a small child. "We've never had this kind of energy." "It's amazing," Max smiled, feeling a surge of pride. "This is what humans can do when we think. When we work together. We don't need to wait for others to save us. We can save ourselves." Saren nodded. "And that's what scares those in power. They don't like humans acting independently. That's why we must be careful." It wasn't long before the consortium made their first move. A team of security drones appeared in the sector, patrolling aggressively. Max's sensors detected them before they reached the workshop. "They're coming," he warned Saren. Saren's eyes narrowed. "Then we meet them with cleverness, not force. Humans are more adaptable than machines." Together, they set a plan into motion. Max used the decoy devices to mislead the drones, emitting false energy signals that suggested the real device was elsewhere. While the drones followed the false trail, Max and Saren moved the real units to a hidden chamber beneath the colony's maintenance tunnels. The drones were fast and relentless, but humans were faster and more unpredictable. Max guided volunteers through the labyrinthine tunnels, using knowledge of every twist and turn to stay ahead of the mechanical pursuers. Saren coordinated the movements, communicating quietly with each volunteer, ensuring no one was left behind. Finally, the drones were outmaneuvered. They returned to their base, confused and empty-handed. Max exhaled, wiping sweat from his brow. "That was close," he said, a mix of relief and excitement in his voice. Saren smiled faintly. "Humans win when we use our minds. Brute force isn't always the answer." But the victory was temporary. The consortium would return, smarter and more determined. Max and Saren knew they had to stay one step ahead, constantly adapting, innovating, and inspiring the colony. Over the next week, they continued to expand the device's reach. Max worked tirelessly to improve energy efficiency and storage capacity, while Saren ensured that the information remained secret and the volunteers prepared. The colony began to see the benefits. Lights stayed on during blackouts. Heating systems kept homes warm, and communication networks ran smoothly. People began helping one another, inspired by Max's invention and the sense of possibility it brought. Max noticed something remarkable. The device was more than just a tool. It was a catalyst for human ingenuity. Residents began improvising, creating small modifications, and suggesting improvements. Max encouraged them, seeing firsthand how humans thrived when given opportunity and responsibility. One evening, as Max and Saren reviewed the device's energy output, Max asked, "Do you think humans are ready for this, to take control of our own future?" Saren considered him. "Humans are always ready to rise to a challenge. We just need a chance," And when we get it, we surprise even ourselves. Max smiled. Then, we keep giving them chances. Every day, every apartment, every unit of energy. Small steps lead to big change. But as they celebrated their successes, a more dangerous threat emerged. A reconnaissance ship from the consortium appeared near the orbital rings, its scanners sweeping the colony for anomalies. Max detected it immediately. "They're sending more than drones this time," he said, tension rising in his voice. "This is serious." Saren placed a hand on his shoulder. "Then we prepare. Humans adapt. Humans think. Humans survive. And we'll show them exactly what that means." Together, they formulated a plan to protect the device and the volunteers. Emergency shelters were prepared, secret tunnels reinforced, and decoys strengthened. Every resident involved knew their role. Max and Saren had turned a simple invention into a movement, one that showcased human ingenuity, courage, and collaboration. The consortium would test them. But humans were ready. Humans could think, improvise, and overcome. And Max's invention was the perfect proof. As night fell over the orbital colony, the lights glimmered in apartments powered by Max's devices. The residents slept with a quiet sense of hope. Max and Saren stood on a balcony overlooking the city, watching the soft glow. "This is just the beginning," Max said. Saren nodded. "The real challenge is coming. But humans will rise to it. We always do." And somewhere above, the consortium's ship hovered, unaware that they were about to face a force far more powerful than technology alone. The ingenuity, courage, and determination of humans working together. The orbital colony had begun to change. It was subtle at first. Lights staying on during blackouts. Small heaters warming apartments in the bitter cold. Communication networks that finally stayed reliable. But the people noticed. They talked quietly among themselves about the mysterious devices that Max had created. About the strange but helpful newcomer, Saren, who seemed to command respect effortlessly. Max watched all of this with a mix of pride and worry. The more the colony relied on the devices, the more attention they would attract. And he knew the consortium would not sit idle. They were clever, ruthless, and powerful, far beyond the reach of any ordinary colonist. If they discovered the devices, they would stop at nothing to seize them. Saren stood beside him on a balcony overlooking the lower decks. "You've done something remarkable," she said, her calm green eyes scanning the bustling corridors below. "People are starting to believe they can do more than survive. They're learning to thrive." Max smiled faintly. "That's the point. Humans are clever. We've survived impossible odds before. We just need a chance to show it, and a tool to make it possible." Saren nodded. "And now, the real challenge begins. The consortium won't wait forever. They'll come, and we need an alliance. Not just volunteers. We need everyone to work together." Max's eyes widened slightly. "You mean, the whole colony?" "Not everyone," Saren replied. "Only those we can trust. People who will follow instructions, protect the devices, and help us if things go wrong. But yes, an alliance of necessity. Humans working together, using their brains, courage, and skills to survive and thrive." Max considered her words. It was risky. Trust was hard to come by in the crowded colony, where survival often meant putting oneself first. But he had seen glimmers of hope. The volunteers who had helped him before were clever, adaptable, and brave. Perhaps they could inspire others. The first step was recruitment. Max and Saren met with their trusted volunteers in a hidden chamber beneath the colony's maintenance tunnels. The room was small, dimly lit, but safe. "We need everyone's best skills," Saren explained. "Engineering, communication, problem-solving. Each of you has a role, and together, we can outthink any threat. Understand?" The volunteers nodded, their expressions a mixture of excitement and determination. One of them, a young engineer named Taro, spoke up. "We've seen what the devices can do. If we work together, we can protect them." We can protect the colony. Max smiled. Exactly. Humans can adapt faster than machines. We can think in ways they cannot. We can survive, even against forces much stronger than ourselves. Over the next few days, they trained. The volunteers learned how to transport devices quickly, how to hide them, and how to use decoys to confuse any intruders. Max taught them about energy readings, signal interference, and the subtle ways the devices could be protected. Saren focused on strategy, communication, and coordination. Everyone had a part, and everyone practiced until their movements were instinctive. The alliance began to form naturally. People who had never worked together before found ways to cooperate. Engineers shared knowledge, residents volunteered for tasks, and even young apprentices learned to monitor sensors and report anomalies. Max watched with amazement as ordinary humans became a team, each member contributing to a greater purpose. But the consortium was patient. One evening, a small scouting ship appeared near the colony, its sensors sweeping the orbital rings for unusual energy activity. Max's monitors alerted him immediately. "They've sent another team," he said. "And this time, they're looking for more than a device. They're looking for us." Saren's expression remained calm, but her green eyes burned with resolve. "Then we give them a lesson they won't forget. Humans think, humans adapt, and humans survive. We'll show them that." The alliance sprang into action. Volunteers moved devices to hidden chambers, activated decoys, and prepared emergency escape routes. Max and Saren coordinated every move, using a combination of knowledge, intuition, and careful timing. Every step was calculated, yet flexible. Humans were unpredictable in the best way, able to improvise when machines could not. As the scouting ship approached, Max activated the decoy devices. False energy readings appeared across multiple sectors, drawing the ship's sensors away from the real devices. Meanwhile, volunteers moved the genuine units through hidden tunnels, keeping them safe and secure. The consortium's ship adjusted its path, chasing false signals while Max and Saren's team quietly completed their mission. By the time the intruders realized the deception, the Alliance had already secured the devices. Saren smiled faintly. "Humans win with brains, not brute force." Max grinned. "And that's the lesson. We survive not because we are the strongest, but because we are clever, adaptable, and brave." The success strengthened the alliance. Residents began to trust one another, inspired by their shared victories. Engineers improved the devices, volunteers expanded hidden storage, and even skeptics became believers as they witnessed the ingenuity and courage of ordinary humans. Max and Saren realized the true power of their work. The device was important, yes, but the alliance was even more remarkable. Humans were thriving not just because of technology, but because they were thinking, cooperating, and solving problems together. One evening, as they reviewed the alliance's progress, Saren spoke quietly. "Max, this is bigger than I imagined. The devices are important, but the real change is happening in people's minds. They see what humans can do when we work together." Max nodded, a sense of pride swelling in his chest. "Exactly. This is the human factor. Technology alone can't change the world, but humans can. And when we combine our minds with tools like this, there's nothing we can't achieve." They spent the next few weeks strengthening the alliance. Workshops were held in secret, teaching residents about energy management, problem solving, and creative thinking. Max and Saren encouraged innovation, allowing humans to experiment and improve the devices. The result was a colony more capable, more resilient, and more united than ever before. But they knew danger was still coming. The consortium would not ignore these developments. Max and Saren prepared for the inevitable challenge, reinforcing hidden chambers, training more volunteers, and refining the devices to be faster, safer, and more powerful. One night, As they stood on a balcony overlooking the glowing colony, Saren spoke softly. "Max, what we've built isn't just a device. It's hope. And hope is stronger than any threat." Max looked at the lights below, where residents moved confidently, working together to protect and improve their community. "Humans are stronger than anyone thinks," he said. "We survive, we adapt, and we thrive. And this is just the beginning." Saren nodded. "The alliance will grow. Humans will learn. And when the consortium comes, they'll find that brains, courage, and cooperation are more powerful than any machine." Max smiled, his heart racing. He had dreamed of this moment for years. A demonstration of human ingenuity, bravery, and collaboration. The devices were important, yes, but the real victory was the people. Humans working together, thinking creatively, and thriving in the face of danger. The colony's lights shone brighter than ever, reflecting the hope and determination of its residents. Max and Saren stood side by side, knowing that no matter what challenges lay ahead, humans had proven they could rise to meet them. And somewhere above, in the dark void of space, the consortium watched, unaware that the most powerful force they would face was not technology, but the clever, courageous, and adaptable humans who had built an alliance of necessity. The orbital colony was alive with quiet tension. Max and Saren had spent weeks preparing for the inevitable. The consortium had discovered unusual energy fluctuations and had begun sending probes and drones to investigate. Everyone involved in the alliance knew that a confrontation was coming. There was no doubt. The consortium would attempt to seize the devices, and this time, it would not be a simple scouting mission. Max stood in the hidden control room beneath the lower decks, his eyes scanning the monitors. Each readout, each blinking light, signaled both danger and opportunity. He adjusted a panel, checking the status of all devices scattered throughout the colony. "They're coming," he said, his voice calm but firm. Saren leaned over his shoulder. "And we're ready. Humans think. Humans adapt. Humans survive. Let's show them what that means." Max nodded. "We fight with brains, not brute force. That's our advantage." Outside, in the orbital rings, the consortium's attack fleet emerged. Sleek ships, armed with advanced sensors and automated defense drones, approached the colony. From the control room, Max and Saren observed the ships moving into formation. Their arrival would normally cause panic, but thanks to the alliance, the colony was prepared. Saren turned to the volunteers, who stood ready at key positions throughout the colony. "Remember your roles. Distract, mislead, protect. Stay calm. Work together." The volunteers nodded, confidence replacing fear. They had trained for this moment, and each of them understood the importance of the task. Humans could be unpredictable in ways machines could not, and they were about to prove it. Max activated the first wave of decoy devices. False energy readings appeared in multiple sectors, sending the consortium's sensors in circles. Meanwhile, volunteers moved the real devices through hidden tunnels, switching power sources and activating emergency concealment protocols. The consortium ships fired a few warning pulses, testing the defenses. Max's team responded with quick, clever adaptations. Shutters closed automatically, energy outputs shifted to hidden channels, and lights flickered in patterns designed to confuse the intruders. The fleet struggled to locate the real devices. Saren's voice cut through the control room. "Taro, redirect the drones again. Use the upper ducts for movement. Everyone else, keep monitoring and adjusting." Taro nodded, his fingers flying over the control panel. "Got it. Drones are confused. They're chasing decoys." Max smiled. "Humans win with creativity, not weapons." The consortium realized too late that they had underestimated the colony. The humans inside were not just hiding, they were adapting, improvising, and cooperating in ways that machines could not predict. Each step the fleet took, the Alliance had already anticipated. In the tunnels, volunteers moved swiftly, communicating quietly through hand signals, and encrypted channels. They checked each device, ensuring it was protected, and adjusted decoys to maintain the illusion. Residents who had never participated in anything like this before found courage they did not know they had. A young apprentice, barely 16, guided a small drone through the maintenance tunnels to activate another decoy. His hands trembled slightly, but he followed instructions perfectly. Max had trained him well. "Good work," Max said quietly, watching the screens. "You're part of something bigger now. Humans think, humans adapt, humans survive." The consortium's fleet, frustrated and confused, began a more aggressive approach. They sent automated retrieval drones to sweep sectors systematically. But Max and Saren's team had anticipated this. They had set traps not harmful, but clever diversions. Small magnetic fields misled drones, and false signals sent them chasing empty corridors. One by one, the automated systems were neutralized, misled, or rerouted. In the control room, Saren looked at Max. "They can't predict creativity." "That's our strength," Max nodded. "And they never will." Humans improvise. The battle continued for hours. The consortium attempted to gain control, but every move was countered with ingenuity. The volunteers coordinated energy signals to confuse sensors, moved devices to unexpected locations, and even used the colony's layout to create impassable zones. Max and Saren watched in awe as ordinary humans executed extraordinary maneuvers, outthinking the most advanced technology the consortium could deploy. Finally, the consortium realized the fight was lost. They had underestimated human ingenuity, adaptability, and cooperation. One by one, their ships retreated, unable to secure the devices or breach the Alliance's defenses. The orbital rings fell silent, except for the hum of Max's devices powering the colony's systems efficiently and safely. Max exhaled, a mixture of relief and pride filling him. "They've gone. For now." Saren smiled faintly. "Humans can overcome anything when we work together. Technology alone isn't enough. We need creativity, courage, and cooperation." The residents emerged from hiding, amazed that the threat had been neutralized without a single casualty. They began to realize something extraordinary. They had survived and thrived because of their minds, their adaptability, and their willingness to act together. Max's devices were powerful, yes, but it was the human factor that had won the day. Over the next few days, the colony rebuilt and reorganized. The Alliance became a symbol of what humans could achieve when they trusted one another and worked together. Max and Saren expanded the network of devices, ensuring every sector had reliable energy. They trained more volunteers, spreading knowledge and skills throughout the colony. Max observed the transformation with awe. People were no longer merely surviving, they were thinking creatively, collaborating, and improving their lives. Engineers designed new enhancements, residents shared ideas, and children even learned basic energy principles, inspired by the devices and the teamwork that had saved the colony. Saren approached Max one evening as he checked the central console. "Look at what humans can do when we are given a chance," she said softly. "We didn't just protect devices. We changed minds. We changed lives." Max smiled, his eyes reflecting the glow of the orbital city below. "Yes, and this is only the beginning. Humans can thrive anywhere in space, on Earth, or beyond if we think, adapt, and work together." The devices, once just a prototype, had become a tool for empowerment. But the true lesson was clear. Technology alone could not secure a future. Humans, with their ingenuity, courage, and cooperation, were the ultimate force. As the sun rose over the orbital rings, casting a soft glow on the colony, Max and Saren stood together, watching the lights of homes, workshops, and communal spaces. The colony was alive, vibrant, and resilient. Humans had not just survived, they had proven that they could thrive, even against overwhelming odds. Somewhere far above, the consortium regrouped, realizing that their machines and weapons could not match the ingenuity of humans. They had been defeated, not by firepower, but by creativity, courage, and collaboration. Max turned to Saren. Do you see? This is the human factor. Technology helps. But humans are unstoppable when we work together, Saren nodded. And now, the colony knows it. Humans can face any challenge and rise above it. This is our victory. For the first time in years, Max felt a deep, steady sense of hope. Not just for himself, not just for Saren, but for all humans who would follow in their footsteps. If they could survive in the harsh environment of an orbital colony, they could thrive anywhere. And in that moment, the orbital city glimmered like a beacon of possibility. Humans had proven that ingenuity, collaboration, and courage were the greatest powers of all. The devices had started the change, but humans had finished it. Max smiled. We did it. Saren placed a hand on his shoulder. Yes, humanity always prevails when we use our minds, hearts, and courage. That's what makes us unstoppable. And so, the colony began a new era. Humans worked together, thought creatively, and faced challenges with confidence. Max's invention had sparked change. But it was human ingenuity that would shape the future. Above the orbital rings, in the quiet darkness of space, the stars shone on a thriving human colony, a testament to the power of cleverness, courage, and collaboration. Humans had not just survived, humans had triumphed.